All right. This is the first time. Mic test one, two. Just checking the mic test one, two. Let's go here. So, this is the first time that I go live. So, if I'm not sure how this is coming out, but we're just gonna roll with it. And we're gonna see how it goes. Um, I hope the audio is okay. I hope you guys can hear me. Anyway, and not doing anything professional here. No, no intros or anything fun. So if anybody's looking for that, I apologize. Um, but I'm processing something that happened just now, actually, and I'm like, you know what? I think we can learn from every single situation that we walk through, and I wanted to come on here and just kind of talk about what I walked through. I'm not going to name any names because we're all entitled to our opinions. So I'm not going to be spreading rumors or telling you don't go to see this person. But I'm titling this live stream. Not everyone's going to like you, and that's a good thing. Sometimes the cost of standing for something is rubbing the wrong people the wrong way. I'm going to say that again. Sometimes the cost for standing for something is rubbing the wrong people the wrong way. And that's not a failure. That to me and from my experience is just friction. And friction, as we all know, means you're moving. So, let's talk about this. First and foremost, welcome back to Beyond Adjustments. And yep, this is my show, so I get to put on here whatever I want to put on here. I own the mic, so but my name is Amin Saeed. Again, welcome back. But today's episode is a little different. No guests, no warm up banter, just me, and a story that needs to be told. I've spent the past few years, because I'm not going to tell you how old I am unless you know me, but I spent the past few years, or do a quick Google search. But I spent the past few years building relationships. Um, and more recently building relationships with chiropractors all across the country. And I've walked into practices that were thriving and some that were barely breathing. I've even seen marketing strategies flop and mission-driven doctors burn out. And I've had the tough conversations on air, off air, but because that's where real growth happens. And that's why I needed to come on here and chat with you guys a little bit. So today I want to talk about something real, something raw, something that happened to me very recently. Actually, over the past few days, it just ended today because I'm not going to respond to this person again. Um, but I want to talk about how it can serve, how these situations can serve as a mirror for how we all handle rejection, how we handle boundaries, and of course, how we handle leadership. Because this all started with a simple ask. So a few weeks ago, I invited a chiropractor to be on the podcast. It's standard process. I asked for a quick video meet first, nothing major, just a chance to meet face to face before recording, a way to really ensure the conversation would flow. Um, and that essentially we had a mutual respect that we were a good fit. You know. Anyway, and that simple request, guys, it literally spiraled and so fast, and I don't even know why. Literally by the end, I might say literally a lot on this recording, so I apologize. Normally I delete those words, but this is live, so here we go. But he responded by calling me. And this was the last email I received from them. He called me a scammer. He called me a buffoon. He called me a passive aggressive, you know what, hole. I need to keep this family friendly. Um, and he said he'd warn all his Cairo friends about me, all because I asked for 15 minutes on video for a podcast. That's literally a video podcast. Now, let me say this. I could have deleted the emails, shrugged it off, but I believe there's a deeper lesson here. For all of us who are trying to grow something meaningful without losing our soul in the process, I mean, I think there's something to say about pausing and just even taking the negative and building on that or from that or despite of that. Does that make sense? Because to me, standards aren't selfish. Here's the thing. Setting standards isn't about ego. It's about excellence. I've been burned before by not screening guests properly. I've had interviews where I didn't do that video check first and they didn't go well. The energy was off. The message wasn't aligned. So now I protect the process. And if someone's ego can't handle a boundary like that, that's not your audience. That's not your client. That's not your guest. That's not your patient. There's a process in place for a reason. Having boundaries doesn't make you difficult, it makes you intentional. The email that said it all. Okay, so let me say that when he started hurling insults, I paused because honestly, I don't have these types of run ins, at least not often. Um, but when he responded the way he did and said he was going to, like, tell all his friends about me, and warn them about me, that's fine. He has the right to. If he feels like I'm going to harm someone, that's his right. That's his duty. Please, by all means, tell all of your chiropractic friends how much of an evil person I am and how I have malicious intent and I'm a buffoon and I'm a scammer, all that. Whatever it is you want to tell them that will make you feel better, by all means, please do it. You have that right, and I can't stop you anyway. But here's how I responded. I said, please do. That is your right. But never was that my intent. If I may remind you, it was you that jumped to the conclusion that you're forming. I reminded him that it was his reaction, not mine, that I simply wanted to connect first before creating something together. And then he said something that stuck with me. This is actually what made me jump on here and start chatting with you guys. He said, you need a reality check on entrepreneurship and making things happen. So I let that sink in because I don't just take everything as insults, I process things, right? Let me tell you something. I am an entrepreneur, and part of entrepreneurship is learning how to protect your time, how to protect your energy, how to protect your vision. Not every opportunity is a good one. Not every person gets access. That's not arrogance. That's stewardship. And and I want to say this too. I really do wish, I really do hope that when we go into any situation that we have zero assumptions. Here's why. Today, for example, I made time to meet with this person, and I hung out on the Google Meet for a while. They never showed, and that's when the email exchange started happening because he expected a phone call, not video. But whatever. But what he doesn't know, nor do I care for him to know, is that I had just left the hospital visiting a friend, and I still made time for this person to meet with them because of my mission. I won't tell you about this friend and what they were going through, but it's pretty serious. But had I started using that as an excuse, maybe the conversation would have gone different, but it's not their business. So I'm only saying that to say don't walk into situations with assumptions. You don't know what's happening. You don't know the behind the scenes of it all, right? Like every situation is different. Anyway, I want to talk about criticism a little bit because criticism, hear this, criticism is a mirror. Hear what I just said. Criticism is a mirror, not a verdict. His reaction didn't shake me, but it reminded me of something. It reminded me of something important. The louder someone reacts to your boundary, the more likely it was the right boundary. Criticism isn't always truth, though. Sometimes it's just noise, but it can also be a mirror. This moment pushed me to look at my process. Could I be clearer up front? Yeah, we could always be clearer. We should always be making our process better. Could I communicate expectations better? Absolutely. That's the refinement part of leadership. We grow from the tension, we sharpen in the conflict. So, thank you, doctor. I will not drop names. Our conversation was private, and I will continue to keep it private. Not for the words you used, though, but for the clarity it gave me. I'm clearer on my values now than I was before. You apparently thought I had this malicious intent and that I was trying to sell you something. You can speak to every single chiropractor that I've had on the show. Not once did I try to sell them anything. Do I have a business? Yes. Do I have a marketing agency for chiropractic? Yes. Cyberadjustment.com. Go there, check it out. I'm amazing. I do great work. Yeah, wonderful. But we've never had that conversation. In fact, if you were to meet with me, if you did jump on that Google Meet, I would have mentioned that and said, that's not what we're here to talk about. And you can ask every single chiropractor that I've met with on these meets. That's literally how I start my conversation because these are two separate things. Cyber Adjustment merely funds Beyond Adjustments podcast. That's it. Okay. I- I'll jump off that for a second here, but I want to talk about leadership. So leadership is not a popularity contest, really, guys. Let this sink in. Let's be honest. Most of us want to be liked. I want to be liked. Yeah. We want our intentions to be seen, our heart to be understood. But if your mission depends on universal approval, it's already compromised. Think about that. You will be misunderstood just like I was today. You will be misquoted, which I'm sure I will be in his circle. You will be mislabeled. And still, you must lead. You must lead your practice. You must lead your patients, not with bitterness, but with boldness. That means protecting your peace, honoring your gut, saying no to the wrong fit, and even when it's uncomfortable. Because that was an uncomfortable conversation for me, even though it was over email. And when someone throws stones, don't build walls, just build clarity. Honestly, it's really the higher ground, the higher road that you should be taking. You'll be better off in the end. You don't need everyone to like you. Okay. Here's your takeaway. You don't need everyone to like you. You need to be aligned with your purpose. You don't need to defend yourself against every accusation. You need to move in integrity. And when someone tells you that your boundary disqualifies you from success, smile and keep walking. And if you've ever had a moment like this, I'd love to hear about it. Shoot me a message. We'll laugh, probably cry about it together and learn something too, right? So until next time, stay bold, stay kind. Please stay kind. We don't need to fling names around. and definitely, most definitely, stay aligned. Stay aligned to your purpose, to your mission, um, and let's get chiropractic over the finish line, that ever moving finish line, right? All right. We'll talk soon, guys.